Hi guys, Matt Lemke with Your Gamer Goggles, and we are at the place called Gen Con 50. It's where a whole bunch of weirdos like me come hang out, play games, learn about new games, learn about new ownership of games, and we are at the Wild West Exodus booth, which I don't know their new game, but I'm going to guess it's Warcradle Studios. Am I right?
You are, that's us.
Probably because it says it on the back of their shirts. But anyway, Wild West Exodus is something I'm kind of a fan of. I haven't really gotten to play too much of it yet. I can't call it new, but I'm going to call it new because they're coming out with a new edition. Or technically it's out.
It's very new. The second edition, or the new edition of the game, comes out at the end of September, and it'll be available in all good game stores everywhere.
Only good ones though.
Only the good ones.
So, if you guys think your game store's a little shady, you better get in there and add some lights.
Well, yeah, and actually by then having Exodus in your store, it makes your game store better. So, I'd do that.
Well, their models definitely make your game store better. I don't know if you've ever seen them. If you're a miniature gamer, you should know. Just go look at James Wapple on Facebook. He's got a ton of pictures of all the Wild West stuff he's posted. But what's your painter's name that's here today?
That's Lewis is over there.
Does he have a Facebook page where he posts his pictures?
All of his stuff is on the Wild West Exodus page and the Dark Council page.
That's true. He does kind of like work for them. So yes.
Indentured servitude. Yeah.
Indentured. Very interesting. So, how long have you guys owned the company now, or the game?
We've owned
the company as long as
it started. Yeah. So we took over Wild West Exodus about a year, 18 months ago. Well, certainly we began the conversations with Romeo and the guys at Outlaw, and ever since we brought it back. The first thing we did, we wanted to try and get as much of the original edition of the game out there and make sure that all the existing players had good access to stock and good access to all the cards and the other bits and pieces they wanted. But it was always our intention to kind of rework the game and sort of build something bigger, more inclusive, more of a kind of a cohesive game. So because in first edition how it had been created off the back of a couple of Kickstarters, done a brilliant job, but essentially each of the Kickstarters added a new layer of stuff to the game, so that by the time you got to when we came on board with the first edition of the game, it essentially had multiple layers, like a cake kind of thing, built up with multiple layers, and you were kind of forgetting, or the flavours didn't necessarily make sense, and they weren't necessarily in the right order because of the way it had grown through a structure like a Kickstarter, rather than a kind of from the original design upwards it had been built. So with the second edition, it gave us the opportunity to take all the weird and wacky and crazy strange stuff and make sure that all fit into the same world, that you have your outlaws and you have your lawmen and you have your union, but then you also have your aliens and you have your weird religious soldiers and you have your strange squid ladies and all the other stuff that's going on in there. It's
any mummies yet?
Mummies?
No mummies yet?
Don't have mummies, no. Maybe we should. Yeah. So we hope now that, yes, it's a chaotic, crazy world, but that the world kind of has its own internal logic, or it makes sense, and it's exciting and cool and interesting, and that's what we hope second edition is about.
And the biggest change would be what?
From a background point of view, or from a rules point of view?
Oh, I didn't know you changed any of the background. Rules point of view.
So, from a rules point of view, biggest change, it's a new game engine. It uses a new game engine. It emphasises more about the chaos and confusion and the violence that happens in the middle of a battle. And the strategy is now more about working out how to take advantage of things when the winds of fortune are going in your direction, and also to protect yourself then when the hard times are coming and things aren't going quite your way. And that's really where it's about organising the chaos around you.
Okay. What's the biggest background change then?
Each of the factions now there are 8 factions in the game. Each of the factions now has its own, I call it agency, which is kind of a bit of a snooty way of saying its own reason for doing what it does. Each faction is the hero of their own story now. So if you're the Watcher player, your guys are the best guys, they're the good guys, and everybody else is crazy and needs to be sorted out. If you're the Hex player, your guys are the good guys. And so every faction is doing something for what they believe is the right reasons. But obviously, from everybody else's point of view, that faction's terrible, it's evil, it's what have you. And that's something we've been really pleased with doing. You can be a player of any one of the factions, and you can be confident that yours is the best faction, yours is the right faction to do it.
Oh, very cool. So with the release schedule and stuff, where are we at?
So the second edition of the game comes out at the end of September, so 30th of September, but then every month thereafter we've got new posse sets, which are the start of the building blocks of building an army. We've got more sets of them coming out. We've got hands, which are the like your troops and things. We've got those sets coming out. We have extra figures, extra characters, and it's an ongoing release schedule. Every month we'll have loads of brand new models coming out.
Any plans on any more Kickstarters for it, or are you going to stay away from Kickstarter?
So Kickstarters are great for things like board games and other games like that, but we really feel, because we want the game in the retail stores, for us, Kickstarter isn't the way that we want to go to support it. We think we'd rather work with the stores and with distributors and things, and with the community, and try and grow it in a kind of a slightly more organic way.
All right. Anything you want to add?
It's great. It's not just about the Wild West, as in it has Wild West in the title because that's where the game takes place in the American frontier, but the stakes and the factions involved is a much larger conflict than that. So really you're almost think like the Second World War, and you are looking at one battle zone, one conflict area. That's what Wild West Exodus is. It's a kind of a zoomed in spotlight on one area of a much bigger conflict that's going on.
Obviously it's Arizona.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For those of you that don't know, that's Devil's Tower.
It is.
Half of it.
The front half.
Really a chimney.
So that's the regular version.
Oh, and if I didn't mention it before, because I think I was just too excited to be here, it's Stuart.
Hello.
He wrote half the stuff.
Yeah, the dodgy half. But we've got people like Craig Gallant is still on board with the background and writing, so he helped write and shape a lot of the first edition of the game. He's on board with us with the second edition, working out that. So you'll see, if you're a fan of his style, his writing, he's in there. He's also writing new novels for us as well, so we're going to have an expanded novel range coming out for the game. We've got graphic novels coming out. We've got a whole bunch of stuff. If I had my way, we'd have an audio book as well, but I haven't quite convinced the MD of that one.
I would be a fan of that. I'd listen to it on the way to Gen Con.
Absolutely.
I love audiobooks for that. But anyway, nothing else?
Oh, there's loads. The list is.
What are you allowed to talk about?
Okay. So the really cool stuff is once we've got the core rules out and people are playing and enjoying it and getting excited about it, and then we're going to have things like our Deputy program and our Trailblazer program, which is our organised play. Okay. What we're then able to do is each year we're going to be bringing out, and Gen Con will be a great place to do it. We'll bring out either a major expansion for the game, so we might be doing about train heists and you can be inside the train and fighting, or we might be bring out another faction, or we're intending to support this with major releases every year.
You can have a train run all the way through your booth.
Absolutely.
When you do that release, and have space for 20 different players.
What we could also do though is we could design the booth like a train, but then move everything around the train 20 feet that way to give the impression that the train is moving.
Just put the players on escalators.
I like that as well. That works.
That way they're like, I don't have to move. That's a little too George Jetson.
Nothing wrong with the Jetsons.
Nothing at all. All right. I think unless you want to add more.
No, I'm happy. I might get shot if I tell you too much more, so I'm happy with what I've told you so far.
Let's get him shot. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you. Thank you again, sir. It's a pleasure.